Bottom traffic, Cessna 3619 on left downwind for runway 1A bottom.
Control traffic 70118052 Alpha, left downwind 17, Jones.
Gas traffic, Cessna 36190 is turning the left base for 17 Jones traffic. Hey, something on the pattern, can you guys see me?
Oh yeah, we saw you, we have you in sight. You're a good distance away from us. We'll make sure to give you plenty of room once you turn base.
Sweet, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Alright guys, I'm Chris Fitch. This is Flight Log. Welcome back. Today I have with me Chihiro.
Yeah.
Chihiro, where are you from? What do you do?
Born and raised Los Angeles. Been living in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas since 2016. I'm a real estate investor originally. I still own some real estate projects, and but most of my effort these days goes into corporate private equity, so investing in businesses, healthcare and auto dealerships specifically.
Alright, so what exactly does that mean so they understand you?
Yeah, so my firm is called ZT Corporate. We were founded in 1997 in Houston, and so what that means is we are direct operators of healthcare businesses and car dealerships, and we raise the capital to buy these deals from not only ourselves, but also private investors who are interested in earning passive income. So they might want to invest in something outside of the stock market, so they meet people like me or one of my colleagues, and they partner with us to do these deals.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been in private equity, whether real estate or on the business side, since 2016.
And is there any difference between being on the real estate side and private equity?
The most obvious difference is that we invest in businesses as opposed to, say, apartments, which is what I used to do, or self-storage or any other number of real estate asset classes. So instead of doing that, we're investing in businesses. But the mechanics of it are pretty darn similar, right? It's like high net worth individuals who are writing checks who want to invest into, instead of apartments, they want to invest into healthcare clinics that we do, or invest into car dealerships.
Now, is the goal for you to be one of those high net worth individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I definitely have a lot more work to do, in my opinion, in terms of growing my net worth, but I am very active as an investor, not only in our own deals, but also in real estate deals, or I am invested in oil and gas, or self-storage, or a technology deal, a variety of different asset classes like that. So it's important to me to invest in our own deals, but also to diversify across other interesting deals that come across my inbox.
Isn't it crazy to look back 20 years ago to see what you're doing now?
Yeah.
What were you doing 20 years ago?
Man, I love that question. 20 years ago, in 2005, I was a claims adjuster. I was working for Progressive Insurance, going to like collision centers and writing estimates on cars and motorcycles and boats and things like that.
And now, probably airplanes. So what do you think about the concept that we have of doing an in-flight podcast like this?
Yo, is there anybody else in the world doing this? Probably not.
No.
But I love it. You're combining your expertise as a pilot with your expertise as an entrepreneur and business owner, and talking to people in the air. In short, I love it.
Alright, so instead of telling you why I do this, I'm just going to show you, okay? Alright guys, I'm going to demonstrate to you why I chose to have an in-flight podcast, and it's really going to show the intimacy of this relationship and how much he trusts me to take him in the sky and bring him back down safely. Chihiro, what I'm going to do now is hand you all the flight controls, and you're going to fly the airplane, and you're going to trust that I'm going to keep us safe, okay? Alright, so put one hand right here.
Okay.
Put this hand right, nope, this one goes right here.
Here.
And just hold it there, and then put your feet on the pedals.
Alright.
Alright, you have all the flight controls. You're officially in charge, okay?
Alright.
So, you see that yellow patch over there? I want you to fly towards that.
Alright.
So what's the first deal you've ever done?
The first deal was with a pilot, actually, in Abilene, Texas. We did a 128-unit multifamily deal, an apartment complex. And Jason Sharp is one of my 3 partners on that deal, and he is a pilot.
Guys, his first deal was 128 units. That is massive in comparison to my first deal. My first deal was a single-family home. I'm 19 years old. I bought my first home on a VA loan at 19. But it goes to show you, what you put your effort to, you can achieve. His goal was clearly different than a stated goal of mine, and his vision was much bigger. Do you have to start off in the single-family market as a real estate investor?
No, you don't have to. I mean, I obviously did not. But getting into something is critical. Whether it's one home or a triplex or a quadplex or an apartment complex, just do something. You have to gamble on yourself.
The way I see that is you're going to take a risk no matter what. Your money's going somewhere. Either you're living check to check, your money's going to all your bills, you're lending it out to friends, you're on payday loans, whatever it may be, the money's leaving your pockets. Or you're investing in the S&P 500, the market. You're investing in things you truly don't know or trust or understand. But you chose to invest in yourself. Do you know yourself?
Yeah.
Do you understand yourself?
I try to, yeah.
Do you like yourself?
Yeah, most of the time.
There you go. He meets all 3 requirements that I use. If I don't know it, if I don't like it, and I don't understand it, I won't invest in it. Now, that's not to say some of the things that you guys invest in are great things. They just don't meet my criteria. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it takes a leap of faith to do your first deal, but here's my take on
You
this.
see that bridge over there?
Yeah.
Fly towards that bridge for me while you answer this question.
All right, you're challenging me here.
Guys, he's been flying this whole time. First time he's ever been in a little airplane like this, and he's flying it all by himself while we're having a conversation. That's the level of trust and intimacy that this podcast brings to this platform. Sorry, man, back to the question.
Yeah, I'm flying for the first time for sure. So the thought that, so I do face a lot of people who might be considering investing in private offerings, and they don't have familiarity, so they're a little bit scared. They have some, they're afraid to make that move, but because they're concerned about the risks. But here's the thing that I think about a lot is people tend to underestimate the risk of not doing anything, of not making any move at all. So for example, let's take my former employer from years ago. I used to work at Toyota, and there's a lot of great people there. But I think it's easy to get complacent if you work at a big company or any company, say for 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, and so you get lulled into a false sense of security because you've been there that long, but it truly is a false sense, and you underestimate the risk of going through a downturn at that company or in that industry, or maybe you might get laid off. And so it's really important to not only think about the risk of any investment you might be considering, but what are the risks of not taking action, of staying wherever you are right now?
Oh man, that hits home so much.
Like, we have this illusion of control over the career that we have presently, and you don't know risk until it hits you in the face.
So what you're saying is if you're working at W-2, which is totally fine, guys, but what you're saying is if you're working at that W-2, you truly have no control on whether that company is going to become insolvent or not.
A lot of times you don't. And so I think it's important for you in that position to consider creating additional cash flows outside of your W-2 income.
You see this line right here that goes left to right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and turn left and follow that line.
All right.
All right. Now hold it right about there. So when did you break free of the traditional mindset of work, save a little bit, invest it for the long term, and just do nothing else? When did you break those realities that you had to do something for yourself?
So, in order to answer that, I'm going to have to go back a little bit. I told you I was a claims adjuster. I didn't like that job. I felt like it was a dead-end job.
Okay.
That was my perception of it. So, in order to change that, the first time I really gambled on myself was deciding to go to business school, realizing that I was good enough to go to business school, and then making it happen. Then after that, I went to a major company and had a great job working at that company. But I found a few things lacking there as well, and so it was 2016 when I made my first real estate private equity investment in a multifamily syndication, where I first took that kind of dive into creating some sort of investment and some sort of cash flow outside of the W-2, which started the process of weaning myself off of that reliance on that income.
Was it scary?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But courage isn't about, not that I consider myself courageous, I don't, but courage is not about not being afraid, but it's about being afraid but taking the action anyway.
You know, I love that you said that. The other day I read something that said, the question is not if I will suffer, it's what will I do when I suffer. It goes along the same lines of fear. It's not if I will experience fear, it's what will I do when I experience fear. What do you do when you experience suffering or fear in the entrepreneurial space? We're going to turn left, and we're going to do the same thing. You see this road right here? We're going to turn, and we're going to parallel that road.
All right.
You're doing great, by the way.
I think, so have I been through pain? Oh, absolutely. Pedro knows about this. Like, I've been through pain as an investor. And the point is not to never be beat up. People who refuse to take risks, I think, ultimately face other challenges in their life because of that refusal to face risk or face fear or suffering. So the point then is not to avoid pain, but to know that you're going to face it, which you just stated, and figure out a way to get through it. Like, I didn't have a plan on exactly what to do, and arguably I still don't, but I just know that with any future pain that I may face, I just have to be resilient in the face of it. You don't lose until you actually refuse to get up.
So let's tie this back to the In-Flight podcast. If I was not in this seat with you and you had no one to rely on, would you get in this airplane by yourself to try to fly it?
No.
Then why are you doing it right now? Because I'm here.
Because you've challenged me, first of all, by not telling me that we were going up in the air today. Secondly, by just like handing the controls to me. So, you know, I didn't really have time to think or to say no. But honestly, like, I love this idea, and so I wouldn't have said no. I don't think I would have. But
So, as an investor, do you seek out risk?
yeah, you have to. If you want to make money, you must risk money.
Now, when you seek out the risk and you know what the risk is, are there ways to mitigate it?
Yes, absolutely.
So right now, with you flying and me in this seat with you, is there a risk of you flying the airplane because you're inexperienced?
Yeah.
But what's the mitigation to that risk that we've identified?
You?
Guys, the same is true in the business world. There is always a who that knows the how. You don't have to know how to do everything. You can be a generalist or a specialist. If you're a generalist, you go find the specialist who needs to do that specific task.
Yes.
It's the same thing in anything in life. If you figure out who knows what they're doing in that specific trade or craft or industry, you have someone who can now supplement you and mitigate that risk. You see this coastline right here?
Yeah.
We're going to follow that coastline all the way around.
All right. So it's all about partnership and forming the right teams. You know, that first 128 unit deal that I did, I didn't know how to do apartments, but I had 3 partners who did, including Jason, the pilot who I mentioned. I'm going to have to send this recording to Jason, by the way.
Yeah, send it to
shouting him
Jason.
out.
I would love it. So Chihiro, something I love to demonstrate is prepping you for something you may be a little uncomfortable with, but you knowing I'm here is still going to give you comfort, okay? I'm going to take all the flight controls back.
All right.
All right, so we're going to set this up in a business scenario. Imagine that you're doing an investment, there's a potential interest rate risk, but it's been mitigated by certain things that you've put in place, right?
Yeah.
We're going to compare that to the unknown right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of low G. You're probably going to be a little scared, but we're going to talk about your feeling and how you dealt with it after it's over, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right.
You caught me off guard.
All right, so was that scary?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you at any time fear for your safety or your life or anything?
No.
Why not?
Because I know you're super experienced with thousands of hours.
Exactly. Now let's tie this back into your business etiquette. Who on your team has the most experience to where you know if he's common study, the outcome is likely to be what you expect?
Who is on my team currently?
Correct.
Oh,
I'm going
there's
to give the
multiple
flight
people.
controls back to you.
There's
Alright.
multiple people. By the way, what is this knob here?
All right, that's a very good question. So pull it out, see what happens. All right, put it back in, see what happens. So what does that control?
The gas.
Yeah, the speed of the propeller, absolutely. See, another perfect example, trial and error. He had no idea what that was going to do, but he had me here to mitigate the risk of what would happen if you pushed it in and out. Same in business. There's so many parallels, bro.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Do you have one of these in business? A checklist? Do you have a standard underwriting process for your investments?
Yes.
Is what I'm
Oh,
asking.
absolutely. And a due diligence process, yes.
Is that a form of a checklist?
Yeah. Yep.
This is why I love this platform so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I read a book called The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande, which talked about pilots' checklists, actually.
It's a phenomenal concept because in reality, flying an airplane is inherently dangerous. But if you can get the actions to become standardized, you have a predictable outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It really holds true in business as well. Guys, when I try to build a business or an investment process that I want to repeat, I try to create systems and then I manage the systems. Is it true for you in private equity?
Yeah, 100%. It's about systems. It's about operation. And having the right people in place to run the business.
You see that coastline right there? We're going to follow that, and we're going to stay on this coastline on the Oklahoma side. That's Oklahoma, by the way. You're back in Oklahoma right now. Can you give us in our audience an example of a process that you do religiously so you know you get the outcome you expect?
In terms of, so we have, very good. We have many different processes in place. One I'll share is when it comes to raising capital, we need to know how much is coming in, how much we need, what our trajectory is, when we think we're going to fill up, right? And so for that we use tools like that track pipeline, essentially like a CRM. But we use those types of that type of software in order to proceduralize the raising of capital. So that's one example.
And when you use that process, do you have a probability of achieving the stated goal with that checklist in place?
Yeah, it improves that probability, definitely.
I do the same exact thing when I fly. Like before you showed up, I pre-flighted the aircraft. I ensured without a shadow of a doubt that the aircraft was in a safe condition. It had all its documents. It had good clean fuel. It had oil. I made sure all of our systems worked. And even though I did it from memory, I still backed it up with a checklist. It's called a do, then verify checklist method. I use the same exact process in business when I'm buying airplanes to send them out on leases. I create a predictable outcome, and then I back into systems so I can hand them off. I can delegate the process and then elevate above it.
Yep. I did notice, I mean, I know you know exactly how to fly this plane, but you still looked at a checklist before we took off.
Oh, yeah.
That says everything you need to know.
You see that marsh over there?
Yeah.
We're going to follow that marsh.
All right.
How you feeling so far?
I feel awesome.
How did we meet?
We met through our mutual friend, Dr. Gene Rajatnam, I think. Anyway, we call him Dr. Raj. Amazing guy, a physician who has some wellness practices in California. And a pilot.
Yes, he is a pilot. There's a lot of common denominators with high-performing people who take on flying because they understand the parallels. You think you're going to take up your pilot's license one day?
The odds increased today.
Guys, if you're out there watching and you want to be in this left seat and you want to hop on the podcast, hit me up at Chris Does Deals and shoot me a DM. I'd love to have you out. Guys, if you want anything to change or you want to see anything extra, leave it down in the comments. I love the feedback. I only grow if you guys like and share this. So please, if you found any value from today, share this with somebody who thinks this is pretty cool like we do. Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of Flight Log. Stay tuned. We're trying to get one a week, so we need guests. Hit us up at Chris Does Deals.